So we're gonna start a new video series called Redoing the Oscars. If you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely hate the Oscars. And I think that the reason why I hate the Oscars is because they reward the exact wrong type of movies, in my opinion. They reward these types of middle brow, like, critical acclaim type movies that aren't good, but aren't popular either. You know what I mean? Like you have these interesting out there movies. You have the really popular blockbusters, and the Oscars don't go for either of those. They go for 12 Years a Slave, which is what won in 2014. So I think that one of the things about the Oscars is that at the time you have people like me who just sound insane talking about how bad the movies are that win, and then we look back on it 10 years later and we're just like, yeah, no, that makes complete sense. So what I'm going to do in this video series is I'm just going to take old Oscars, 10 years or more. I might do a couple more recent ones. I might do some really old ones and just go through and redo them for who I think should have actually won in any of these given years. So we're starting the year 2014. The Best Picture nominees were 12 Years a Slave, American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, 12 Years a Slave won, and it's, as I said, it's the exact type of shitty, critic acclaim type movie that I'm convinced that these are types of movies that people just pretend to like. I don't think anyone actually enjoys these films. I don't think anyone actually enjoys putting on 12 Years a Slave. I don't think anyone actually enjoys putting on Dallas Buyers Club or Philomena. I don't think anybody I don't think there's a single person who's watched that movie more than once. And that's not to say that all movies have to be popcorn flicks. You can have really interesting, challenging films that are difficult and are hard, right? But through that difficultness of the viewing experience, really give you something that's worth rewatching, right? You have a lot of the sort of textbook example of this are movies that every time you watch them over again, you catch different things about the film, right? Those are great movies, right? But they're difficult. They're difficult films, right? The first time you don't catch everything, that by definition means it's a difficult movie, right? But 12 Years a Slave is not a difficult movie. It is a movie that ladles everything to you. It is what ladles to you is just sadness and guilt and remorse. And it's just it's the type of thing that rich white women on the Upper West Side love to pretend to love to watch 12 Years a Slave, so that they can go to a cocktail party and talk about how it moved them. But no one ever actually watches movies. I don't think anyone really enjoys these movies. So here are my 9 movies from 2014 that I think should have won. If I were to nominate the movies from 2014, this would be the this would be the group. So I'm just getting over a cold. So I think, again, as I said, I think that you should represent all different types of the film spectrum in these types of movies. So with Wolf of Wall Street and American Hustle, we have the type of critical acclaim, interesting director, mass market appeal type movies, right? You have the types of movies that you get from Tarantino, Scorsese, the Coen brothers, right? Those types of movies, right? And those two are represented here. Sorry. Her, it's a Spike Jonze movie. Am I the biggest Spike Jonze fan? No. Wow, sorry about that, guys. Am I the biggest Spike Jonze fan? No. But it's an interesting movie. It raises interesting issues, and more importantly, people are still talking about her 10 years later, right? The Wind Rises, which personally, honestly, is kind of my favorite of all these movies. It's kind of the movie that I watch the most often, but it's just kind of my personal taste. I think it's the best of Hayao Miyazaki's movies, and I think that like animated films as well just really get shortchanged. Um, Along the same category, we have Frozen, and like it seems weird to like say like Frozen is the best picture of 2014, but like if the point of film is to make you know audio visual that people enjoy watching, like is there any movie that encapsulates that better in 2014 than Frozen? Like you know again, like I'm not a huge Frozen fan, obviously, because I was like 20 at the time. But like it really does encapsulate. It really did move a lot of people. It did touch a lot of people. It changed, taught important lessons to kids. Like isn't this what film is supposed to be? Like is film really supposed to be 12 Years a Slave? Isn't film supposed to be something that that a lot of people enjoy, that moves them, that makes them happy? Like anyway. Pacific Rim I'm putting on here because, man, I was just blown away by that movie. Like, I did not expect it to be as good as it was. I think that might, maybe I just gave it like a giant mulligan, but Pacific Rim, oh my god, it is one of the coolest action movies I think I've ever seen. The Great Gatsby, like, can't believe I'm blanking on the director's name right now, The Great Gatsby. Sorry, it's like midnight right now. Baz Luhrmann. Like Baz Luhrmann, just makes Baz Luhrmann movies, and like if you like Baz Luhrmann movies, like I do, like they're enjoyable and they're fun. If you don't like Baz Luhrmann movies, like you're not gonna like it. But like this was an incredible movie. It made a huge amount of money. It was like an old piece of IP that a lot of people connected with. I think that really deserved to be there. And then two, I think maybe controversial picks. The Purge. This is a movie that again, like I personally would not vote The Purge. I don't like horror movies, but like it's undeniable that The Purge had a giant cultural impact that we still feel today. Like how many Purge movies have there been? Like 8, 10? And again, like if you have a movie that people want to see over and over again so much over the course of like I think that like having sequels to a movie is kind of like the best indicator of it being a good movie, right? Like I mean obviously there's some movies that you can have sequels for, like Wolf of Wall Street and American Hustle, but like if you have a piece of IP that people just keep on wanting to go to the well for, like that shows that the original movie was that good, and like the directing style, the character composition, like because all sequels just kind of rehash the same bits from the original, right? That means that like the original was that good that people keep on wanting to watch it. Now, Fruitvale Station, as I said, like I am not predisposed to any of the different categories. Like I think you should have mass market appeal movies. You should have indie movies. You should have even some horror movies, animated movies. You have all these types of movies in the Best Picture category to really represent like what film is. At the time, like this was a very overlooked movie, but looking back on it, 10 years later, it launched the career of like one of the biggest A-list actors, Michael B. Jordan, and Ryan Coogler, who's one of the top directors alive right now. So I think that all these movies, like I went through all the movies from 2014, and there are a couple of movies that like could have broken into this list, but honestly, not a lot. And so from all these movies, my winner is The Wolf of Wall Street. Like, I think that, had The Wolf of Wall Street not existed, you probably would have had the same cultural impact from American Hustle. But, it's kind of like the thing where like, two movies just kind of deliver the same thing, and one just does it slightly better, and so that one just like wins out. But like, The Wolf of Wall Street is just such an integral part of like our cultural milieu that like it's difficult to not give it to that movie. Again, Pacific Rim is amazing, but like kind of forget about it. The Great Gatsby as well. Like I just think that like The Wolf of Wall Street is clearly the best movie of that year. So let's go to Best Director. We have Alfonso Cuarón from Gravity, David O. Russell from American Hustle, Alexander Payne from Nebraska, Steve McQueen from 12 Years a Slave, and Martin Scorsese from The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, I am on the record of hating Cha Cha Cha, which is Cuarón, Del Toro, and the other guy. Just because like I do think that they make the very type of Oscar bait type movies that I just hate, like Gravity or like that fish fucking movie. I forgot what it was called. Like they just make or like even The Revenant. I know that people love The Revenant. Okay, how many times have you seen The Revenant? Let's chill out. Anyway, so I don't really like Cha Cha Cha, but I'm gonna go in a weird direction on this. So. I think that you should always, film is a director's medium, right? So like if the director, if a movie wins best film, like the director should be nominated for best director, right? Like that's just kind of inherent in it. So like Scorsese, David O. Russell, Benicio del Toro for Pacific Rim, Spike Jonze for Her, just because I know it's kind of like a thing that people do often now, but like it's still difficult, which is to do kind of the one person film type thing. And then I haven't brought this film up yet, but Prisoners with Denis Villeneuve. He now is making movies like he made Arrival, and then he obviously made the Dune movies. He's really blown up since then, but I think Prisoners like his first movie? Let's check this out. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's just it's a haunting film. And I don't really like, no, it's not even close to his first movie. It was like his first big movie, I think. I'm not a big Villeneuve fan. I didn't like the Dune movies, but Prisoners is really good. So best director, as I said, I don't like Cha Cha Cha, but I think that Pacific Rim is not the type of Cha 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 movie that we're typically accustomed to. I think that action movies get unfairly overlooked when it comes to awards. Action sequences are notoriously difficult to film, right? That's why they cost so much money. And so being able to film really good action sequences for low amount of money, I don't know how that's not part of the definition of good directing. And also Pacific Rim as a film, how much did it make? So it made $400 million, and its lead actor was Charlie Day, which I love Charlie Day, but he's not the lead actor of a $400 million action movie. Anyway, I just thought Pacific Rim was phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of it, and so that's why I gave the edge to that for Best Director. Although if you want to give it to Scorsese for Wolf of Wall Street, I think that's completely acceptable. Best Actor award. Now, this is kind of the thing that they made fun of in, a version of it that they made fun of in Tropic Thunder, right? Where if you want to win the Oscar for Best Actor, you have to go, never go full retard. Where if you have a disease or a mental handicap, they're gonna give you the award. And it's just so it's so trite because you have it creates such a nauseating incentive structure in Hollywood, right? Where people like Matthew McConaughey create movies like Dallas Buyers Club, or Christian Bale has the role of really plays up Irving Rosenfeld just so he can be considered for the Oscar. Any of these things were just it's just bro, come on, chill the fuck out, man. It's just it just creates incentive structures that I just don't think are good. Like these aren't interesting, fun performances. It's just like, oh, you're sad for a long period of time. So, with that said, best actor, Joaquin Phoenix, I think obviously deserves to be nominated. You know, no matter what, it's difficult to be a one-man band for an entire film. Leo Big DiCaprio for Wolf of Wall Street. Michael B. Jordan, I call him Michael C. Jordan for Fruitvale Station. Hugh Jackman for Prisoners was an absolutely incredible performance. I'm gonna go on a left fielder there, man. Like Liam Hemsworth, for Rush. This is something that I really disagree with. I think the majority of people are when it comes to good acting is that people think that good acting is this Shakespearean performance type thing, and sure, I guess, but for me, I think it's just if you can get me to want to look at you on a screen for 2 hours, whoever gets me the most excited to do that, I think is the best actor. And this is this could be a hobby horse of mine that I keep on going to, is that I think that people really overcomplicate it and really get on airs about film, right? Where they make it about all these things that I don't think it should be. Film fundamentally is about making you want to watch a screen for 2 hours or an hour and a half or 2 hours and 30 minutes or whatever, right? And whatever things get you to do that and enjoy that process the most are good. And things that do not get you to do that in an enjoyable way are bad, right? And so from, with this idea in mind, I think Leonardo DiCaprio should have won the Best Picture for Wolf of Wall Street. I'm just going to say that right here. It was an absolutely spellbinding performance. And I think that, you have this weird thing right now, right, where, with actors, we're if we were to talk about the actors from the year 2000 to 2025, right, and I were to ask you who were the best actors, the actors who stood out to you or whatever, right, you list people like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, all this whole list of actors, right, and between all of them they have 3 or 4 Oscars, seriously, and it's always for stuff that is not a top performance of theirs, right? If I asked you today to list me your top 5 favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movies, I don't think a single person watching this video is gonna put The Revenant in the top 5. You're just not. It's just not gonna be the top 5 Leonardo DiCaprio movie, right? So you have this situation where you have the best people what they do, but we're not giving them the award for that thing that they do so well. And even when we do give them the award, we give them for things that is not the good things that they do, right? It would be if an NBA player, right, if he won 5 NBA championships, but he got the MVP award when he was 38 and was putting up 12 points and 8 rebounds a year. It just doesn't make sense. It's just let's have these awards reflect the reality of the situation that we're all in. When we're talking about performances in the year of our Lord 2014, we're all talking about Leonardo DiCaprio and we're all talking about The Wolf of Wall Street. Moving on for my soapbox, Best Actress winners, Cate Blanchett, Blue Jasmine, it was kind of the female version of Dallas Buyers Club. Amy Adams, American Hustle, Sandra Bullock, Judi Dench, Philomena was again. These three movies were straight up give me $5 million of a budget to see if I can win an Oscar or not. And I just think that just corrupts the entire process, right? Because you're making these films that no one really enjoys watching, but are there just so you can win an award. So if I were to put the Best Actress, by the way, it kind of sucks that all of these posters don't actually have the women in them. I was just gonna do the women's faces, but I thought that would have been weird because I've been doing posters for everything else. But anyway, Amy Adams in American Hustle, Sandra Bullock in Gravity. her Scarlett Johansson and her, which is interesting because these two movies are kind of like mirror images of each other, right? Like Scarlett Johansson is the voice in her, while Sandra Bullock, George Clooney is the voice in her ear during Gravity. Margot Robbie in The Wolf of Wall Street, and then like I know it seems weird to say Selena Gomez in Spring Breakers, but like Spring Breakers was a great film, and she put up a great performance. Like, why are we overthinking this thing? So that being said, though, like I think that Amy Adams deserves this award. I don't know what it is, man. Like maybe it was just because I was drunk when I was watching the video, which I was. But like her performance in American Hustle just like blew me away. Everyone was talking about what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence. I think she was fine. I think Amy Adams really stole the show in that film. She was like unbelievable. Best screenplay. I didn't really feel like doing the research of what was an original screenplay and what was non-original screenplay. So I'm just gonna give you my winners straight up, which are Prisoners and Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street has just been like, cleaning up. Great movie, great screenplay, fun time. Like, why are we overthinking this? And Prisoners, again, like I thought, it just really shakes you to your core with that film. So, part of it is performance, but part of it is also like the way that the story develops, over the course of however long, and then also like the twist at the end as well. Final category, best cinematography, which seems like a silly category, but I think it's actually like really important. Gravity, the Cha 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 guys just kind of like run away with cinematography awards, but then you have the Grandmaster, and like these are all movies, man, that are just like, besides Prisoners, like are all movies that are like specifically designed to win a cinematography award, and it's just fucking annoying. So, best cinematography, my nominees. Oh fuck, I forgot to create a page for who wins. But yeah, American Hustle, Gravity, Prisoners, Great Gatsby, and Pacific Rim. Man, I'm just gonna give it to Prisoners, man. I thought it had the best cinematography. So yeah, these are my redo of the 2014 Oscars. Like, comment, follow me on X, subscribe, please, and let me know what you think.